Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another episode of Conversations with Chris and Cameron. It's episode 28. We're again covering basketball this week just because UK just defeated Nicholls State. And then, of course, they are also playing against Valparaiso on Friday. But we will have a football podcast later this week, we promise you. But we're about to get into it. How are you doing, though, Cameron?
Doing well, doing well. Excited. 1-0 on the year. Hopefully 2-0 this Friday. Getting a little undefeated start, getting rolling.
Yes, that would be great for sure if UK can defeat Valparaiso. They should. Like I said, UK was 29 and a half against Nicholls State. It might be a little bit closer, maybe 25 and a half. It just literally depends if UK can get both Jaland Lowe back and, of course, Denzel Aberdeen played. But, if Aberdeen is starting along with Lowe as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And like it feels like unless there's been something else recently come out, it feels like all signs point to Jalen's debut. So
Mhm.
hopefully that's the case, and hopefully whatever the spread is, hopefully this time we cover it because there was not a cover in the first game, but I'm excited to see these boys play. Hopefully we can get both the guards playing for the first time this year and have a fun Friday night.
Yes, UK was very close to covering the spread. 29 and a half, they won by 26, so they were 4 points away from covering the spread even after a slow start in that first half.
Yeah, definitely a slow start, but we were very close to covering that spread. I had a few friends that asked me if they should bet the spread, and I was like, well, at the time that they asked, I was like, Jalen's not going to play. We'll
Yeah.
see about Denzel. I was like, I don't know if you want to touch that. And then some of them did not listen. They took the spread, so they were pretty disappointed. I was like, hey man, I don't know, but we did end up playing well in the second half, so we'll talk about that for sure. But yeah, it was a very slow first half.
Yeah, it was definitely a very slow first half for sure. And like you were saying, I would have probably gone against the spread, knowing if Jalen Lowe wasn't going to play. And then, of course, Denzel Aberdeen was questionable. He, of course, did play in that first half, and of course, the second half. And it was great to see Aberdeen actually, play very well. I know Mark Pope was very thrilled with how well Aberdeen did coming off the bench, coming from his groin injury.
Yeah, no doubt. He checked in and got going right away. So it was a nice welcome back. Played the Purdue game, missed the Georgetown, but it was a good welcome back. He got straight into it, and like you said, Pope was pleased. I think BBN was definitely pleased with his performance, and he continued to grow
Mhm.
on me. Like every single time I see him play, I'm just like, man, this dude, like it's gonna be. I don't have my surefire favorite player so far, so it's like, man, it feels like every play he makes, he's sliding up that list a little bit more. But it was awesome to see him back for sure.
Yeah, other than probably like uh Otego Way or Colin Chandler, probably my favorite player right now would be like Mo Diabate. I feel like Diabate has just been a beast so far since traveling from Alabama to Kentucky.
Yeah, he definitely brought what he had at Bama and he brought it and it translated perfect. Like it's been awesome. He's definitely been amazing. He's one of the guys for sure. Somebody actually asked me yesterday what my top five favorite would be, and I was like, man, I don't really know. I think there's a good mix of five, but I mean, you mentioned Owe is obviously going to be up there, and I think like Mo D, Jasper,
Mhm.
Denzel. I think it's one of those. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Jasper. I know that's a fan favorite already, but
Mhm.
and then now, I mean, once you see Colin's second half there, it's kind of hard to not have him on your list too. But this group's just fun in
Yeah.
general for sure.
Yeah, you can't forget about Malachi Marino too, hometown kid basically from Georgetown, so 30 minutes away from Lexington.
Oh yeah, no doubt. The hometown kid. I mean, Trent Noah. It's hard to not like him. I mean, everybody's just.
Yeah.
This whole team is very, very likable. I feel like Pope. That's one of the things that kind of comes with it. All of his guys, they do play hard. They understand what the assignment is, but they're also just fun individuals that you can easily draw yourself to.
Yeah, well, let's start getting into the game. The first half, it did not go well for UK. It changed definitely once Denzel Aberdeen came into the game around 10 minutes into, I believe, 12 minutes. Like, it was about 8 to 10 minutes into the first half, but it changed a lot. But UK, they only scored 28 points. They went 10 for 31 from the field, 2 for 16 from the three-point line, and then also shot 6 for 13 from the free throw line in that first half. It was awful. The only plus you could say from that first half was they had 28 rebounds plus 7 assists at that time, but they were turning the ball over as well, had 6 turnovers in that first half. They did have 5 steals and 2 blocks, but overall that first half was terrible. another good thing is they only allowed Nicholls State to score 14 points in that first half too.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with Nichols only getting 15. That was kind of the big bright spot that you could look at, where it was like, man, it was 28 to 15. It felt like in a way the game was stuck in mud for like 10 minutes. Like you mentioned, till Denzel got in there, it felt like nobody could do anything. Like it was very, very slow. The offense was struggling early for sure. And you can kind of see what this offense looks like without a point guard versus with a point guard. So
Yeah.
now it shows with Denzel being such a late pickup, now it shows how important that piece was getting him in the portal. But yeah, this game was definitely slow. It was methodical, but like we were not hitting. We had a couple good looks, weren't hitting them, but the 15 points is the big thing. Like that's
Yeah.
like unbelievable. I don't know how many times a Kentucky team has held a team to 15, but like that's unbelievable. And they obviously scored more in the second half, but I think at that point, like our offense was rolling so much that there's going to be more possessions, more shots for them as well. So, yeah, 28 to 15. Obviously, 28 is pretty disappointing for
Mhm.
especially what we saw last year when
Yeah.
we started the year with like
Scoring 90
100
plus
and
points. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were just putting up points like crazy last year, but now we start this one, but it's just a different vibe. I mean, last year we're giving up a lot more. This
Mhm.
one you give up 15 in the first half, so
Yeah.
it was a slow first half, but I think it was needed because we had to fill it out a little bit, and I think the
Mhm.
more we play together, obviously we'll get more familiar. So I don't think we'll have that slow of a half in any time the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, especially if at least Denzel Aberdeen is starting or Jaland Lowe. Hopefully both will be starting because, UK, they need their point guard one back with Lowe. And like I said, all signs are pointing that he will play on Friday against Valparaiso. So hopefully that happens though. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Denzel Aberdeen. He came in. He had 5 points in the first half, 2 for 4, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. And I think with Aberdeen, he should certainly be allowed to shoot the corner threes. Like it feels like he struggles anywhere else from beyond the mark. Just shoot the corner three, nothing else for sure, because that's where you're making your most points from.
Yeah, that's definitely a specialty. And for Aberdeen, he comes in off the bench and ends up playing the third most minutes. So you can
Mhm.
definitely tell once he got in, it was like, all right, well, welcome back. Now you're
Yeah.
just straight back into it. So, but that's definitely a key point that he's got the corner threes down. It just doesn't necessarily translate
Mhm.
around the arc. But he's solid. He knows he's a commanding guard. He's a leader. And you could feel an entire vibe switch once he
Mhm.
checks in the game. I don't remember the exact score when he checked in, but it was incredible the flip of the switch as soon as he got in there.
Yeah, it was probably like 12-8 or something. It was.
Yeah, it was definitely something very, very low.
Yeah, but I think the one thing though that Mark Pope was so impressed with Denzel Aberdeen being point guard one whenever he checked in was he had 6 assists and 0 turnovers. Like Mark Pope was very impressed by that, just saying that he's a true point guard. Like if he needs to be a true point guard, he can like be able to score, but also facilitate the rock. And that's still pretty impressive. Of course, it's Nicholls State, but to still have 6 assists and 0 turnovers in 23 minutes of play, like I feel like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive, and you can't ask for much more than that. And also, I mean, plus 20 in box score plus minus that
Yeah.
adds up with the 6 assists and 0 turnovers. And if you can have that, obviously, it's not going to translate exactly like that every single game because we're going to play some very very good defenses and very athletic teams that'll get to us. But if you can have something similar to that, if you're getting 5 with 1 turnover or something in games, that's going to put you in great positions. And especially once Jaland Lowe's back, he's also going to have a lot less on his plate that he's
Yeah.
going to have to worry about.
Mhm.
So I think once Jalen's back, I think it's going to help everybody, including his partner in crime in the backcourt right there. So I'm excited to see what that
Mhm.
duo can do. But yeah, you mentioned it: 6 assists, 0 turnovers. You can't ask for much more.
Yes, and that's great. But let's talk about Trent Noah real quick. Of course, he got injured in the first half, and at first I was nervous, like seeing the replay. I thought maybe towards ACL because like it looked like his knee like buckled, but it was only an ankle injury, I believe. Of course, today he was the first player to post about NBA 2K being in Lexington, where the players are getting their face scans along with Mark Pope to be in 2K. Of course, it's going to be DLC, but whenever I saw that picture of Noah in a booth, like that did not make me feel well. Of course, last night Mark Pope said that he believes that Trent Noah will be fine, and he was even trying to get into the basketball game last night again after he got injured.
Yeah, I'm glad Trent was very eager and wanted to jump back out there, but I'm glad everybody had enough common sense to just be like, all right, no, chill out, chill out, chill out. You need to stay off. But yeah, the precautionary boot of death, it feels like for Big Blue Nation. It's like every time something happens, a player's in a boot. And I know
Yeah.
it's safety reasons, but it's just scary to see when once you see that 2K posted and you're like, oh brother, there's the boot. But hopefully it's something that the boot's off tomorrow or something where it's something very, very quick. But you mentioned he was out there at what was it at halftime? He was out there warming up, or was that in a timeout? I can't
It
remember.
was during halftime, I believe. I mean, I believe during halftime, like right before the second half started, they said that Trent Noah could come back into the game. Like I heard the sideline reporters say that to the announcers, and I'm like, is he really going to come back though?
Yeah. I don't think we need him in these games for sure. But so I'm glad he did not. But
Mhm.
yeah, the fact that he was able to kind of shrug it off that quick because it you mentioned it did not look good. Like it certainly did not. Where it was as soon as he went down, like I've rewatched a little bit of the game and like you can click back and you're like, oh man, like that did not look good. But it ended up being best case scenario, and he's able to fight it off. And but yeah, I'm glad he was able to get back to a position where he could go in if we needed it. But I'm glad we're had a comfortable lead. We did not need him to check back in.
Yeah, and speaking of boots, you can't forget Otego away being in a boot earlier this summer. PJ Washington basically right before the NCAA tournament a few years ago. Well, not even a few years ago, back in 2019 now, but
Yeah, back in the day.
yeah, back in the day, I mean, he was able to defeat Houston. Like, thankfully, of course, Tyler Hero hit that shot for us. But PJ Washington, if it wasn't for him, like UK probably wouldn't have been able to win that game to go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, no doubt. And he was the one with the block right before too, right?
Yes,
Wasn't
the
that his?
block, and then that led to Tyler Hero's game-winning three.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, PJ's all time though. I know some of BBN kind of got a little ticked off last year when he was showing up at Arkansas
Arkansas.
and wearing the gear and all that. But like, we still love the man. He did a lot of good things for us. But yeah, it feels like that was the OG boot of death where it was like, man, here we go, and
Mhm.
that started a full wave of guys where I can't even think of all the names, but there's been so many
Okay.
through the years where it's just
Mhm.
caution boot.
Yeah, you could probably look it up for sure, but no, like I said, PJ Washington at least wore some UK merch this summer, so that was great to see at least.
Yeah, he's still BBN for life. I think that stands true for most of the guys. I think too. So, but obviously there's probably a couple instances where that may not be the case. But I
Mhm.
think the ones that are the most beloved by UK fans are still on the good side.
Yeah, for sure. But enough talking about good old Trent Noah. Hopefully he does come back from his injury soon, whether it be against Valparaiso or against Louisville. Like UK will definitely need him. But now let's get into another player that was so great last night. He struggled in the first half though. Colin Chandler had a career high 15 points last night, 5 for 8 from the field, 4 for 7 from the 3-point line. Like, and of course, you can't forget about that insane poster he had. Like everybody was talking about it. It was SC top 10 play number 1 last night and this morning. So it was great to see, Chandler's dunk being number 1 on ESPN.
Oh yeah, definitely some first half struggles out of the man, but you can't ask for a much better second half. Like that second half had everything that you want to see. The shooting, the highlight plays that I think for a lot of I wouldn't say casual UK fans, but I'd say UK fans that aren't as insane with all this as we are probably didn't expect him to be able to do that. I know
Yeah.
they probably recognize, dunk contest, whatever. I don't think people were expecting that to come out, but you could tell the bench's reaction.
Mhm.
Like it was a much needed moment that I think will probably I think it'd be hard to top for best dunk of the year, at least for us. Obviously, somebody else out there may do it, but that dunk was unbelievable. And I heard a few different people. I saw some people on Twitter talking about it, like where that would rank in all time Rupp dunks, and it's got to be up there. And
Yeah.
nobody's cocking it back like that and just absolutely baptizing a man. It was very impressive.
Yeah, and I mean everybody saw his hops last year during the blue-white scrimmage. Of course, that was more for NIL trying to donate to the team and everything. But if you couldn't watch it, you could see the highlights and everything. But everybody saw Chandler's hops immediately last year, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then it might be tripping. Didn't he dunk on Malachi in like a leaked practice footage or something over the summer?
It wasn't Malachi, it was Andrei Yelovich, but yes.
Oh, okay, okay. I remember him doing it to somebody, and it was like a corner of the practice facility clip, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't even know how somebody got this, but
Mark Pope
uh,
posted it and then he
it
deleted.
was Pope that posted it.
Yeah, Pope
Okay,
posted and then deleted it, but then everybody saved it before, you know.
yeah, yeah. He's got to know better. He's got to know better.
He's gonna know better. But yeah, I remember Andrea like at least had some good fun about it once it got posted. Like he really didn't care, like he was laughing with everybody.
Yeah, Andreas, it seems like he's just here for a good time and to play some ball.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk a little bit before we get into Otego Away, who was also another star player that had 13 points. But I really want to talk about Kam Williams, though. He only had 2 points, 1 for 3 from the field, and 0 for and then 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. And you can just tell he's really like in his mind right now. Like he was missing wide open shots from the three, and then of course he had a chance to catch the ball and then he lost it, turned the ball over, and he would have had another shot to, throw up another 3-point attempt. But like I said, he lost control of the ball, had a turnover there, and I'm thinking to myself, you gotta stop being in your head so much.
Yeah, there's definitely something mental going on because like you'd have to be blind to not see the talent. Like he's got it. It's just the ball is not going through the net. I feel like there's going to be one game soon where I keep trying to speak it into existence now, but I feel like at some point before SEC play, there's going to be one game that he kind of pops off and he hits. I mean, I'm not even saying this for the joke, like 6 or 7 threes. I'm not because of the TK thing, but I feel like he's gonna have a game like that where it's gonna get him out of this like slump, and it's gonna happen. Yes. But yeah, you mentioned the 2 threes that he missed. Like you've got to hit those. Like those are, I think, if you go back to last year, if Kobe has either of those, there's 1 billion% chance, at least 1 billion% confidence that that's going in. Like those are money for a guy that's a 3-point shooter, and he is a 3-point threat. So got to see those fall. Two wide open ones, and you mentioned the other problems with it. It's just like you mentioned the in the head thing, and
Yeah.
they're still trying to let him play through it for sure,
Mhm.
which I'm glad they are.
Mhm.
But it's just kind of maybe at some point once you get into the big games, the lineup gets cut down, and I think if he's not able to make shots and stuff, then you're probably gonna have a tough time trying to find minutes for him, at least this year. But going forward, obviously, you can still do some things. But this year, as it gets cut down, if he's not able to hit shots, it might get tough.
Yeah, I feel like for him right now, like he's in the same position as where Jackson Robinson was at this point last year, where Robinson really didn't find his groove until the SEC like regular season started for him. Like it took until January for him to get really going. Of course, he had an insane game against Gonzaga whenever he had to take over as a point guard, but I feel like Williams and Robinson are in the same boat right now from last year.
I could definitely see that, and you could see the things happening mentally with Jackson, and thankfully he was able to fight through that. And you mentioned the Gonzaga game, he balled out, and that felt like the happiest moment of that man's career. Like that post game, it was like, man, this
Yeah.
is the Jackson that we all wanted to see. So hopefully there is one of those moments where whether it's against a bad team or a good team and we need him to come in and hit shots, hopefully Cam has one of those moments real soon and we can see him have a phenomenal year for us.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about a couple more players, but I really think people are overreacting to Otega away. Like I see all the time, I'm in all these different Kentucky fan group chat accounts on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it might be, but I really think people are overreacting for Otego away. He had 13 points, 4 for 9 from the field, 1 for 2 from the 3-point line. And he looked so much better in that second half. Like first half, I agree. He looked bad. The whole team looked bad. But I really think people are overreacting. Like people are comparing him to Jackson Robinson, where, he's just playing like he's bored because, he feels like he's better than all the other players in the NCAA, the SEC, whatever it might be, and he should be actually in the NBA right now instead.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that's the case. I feel like it's one of those things where he's in a completely new role, and maybe there is a little bit of boredom where like
Mhm.
you come right out of the gate and you play the number one team in
Yeah.
the country. That's going to be some fun. Like you get to
Mhm.
go out there, play well against them, and then you have to turn around. And even the Georgetown game is exciting. It's a brand big history there. So you come out against Nicholls and you're kind of like, all right, well, we should sleepwalk to a victory with this one, but he still gets his double digits, and him, and then I'm sure we'll talk about Jasper a little bit. Like those are the two
Yeah,
guys that get to the line and hit the free throws. We missed 10 as a team, but
10.
those guys go to the line and do it efficiently. So I think Owe, I'm not worried in the
Yeah.
slightest, I would say. Like I know there's been some chatter about are we worried at all because he's not near what we thought he was last year, but the Owe that we know and love, I think is going to come out when it's needed most, and that may be next Tuesday when we get to see him drop 20 something on Louisville's head right off rip.
Yeah, and like you were saying, he really didn't come alive in that Louisville game until towards the end of that second half, towards the end of the game last year. It was mainly the Lamont Butler show, of course. You can't fault him. Like Butler was on fire, give him the ball, let him score, let him do whatever. But Owe had so many like key steals towards the end of the game, so many key dunks to, allow UK to defeat Louisville. And hopefully he does that again this year against Louisville, but controls the whole game instead.
Yeah, definitely. That it was definitely the Lamont Butler game for sure. He had that one dunk early. I don't remember who it was. It may have been like Amari or something. And then they kind of had like a dump off right behind, and you could see it from half court that he was getting ready to like load up and just punch one. But yeah, he definitely took a little bit in that game, especially. And there were some games last year that it did take him a while. And then like the Alabama game, for example, thanks to the guy that's now with us, he never got going. But
Yeah.
this year, I mean, out of all the games last year, there was really one time that you could see some problems with it, and it was on the road, Alabama. It was like it.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna have to deal with that. Like I said, it's a new role for him, so I think it's just a different vibe, and I think the familiarity against these different opponents, I think will slowly mesh into his game, and he'll end up being the guy that we love.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like I said, always going to average 15 plus points per game probably this year, maybe even more. Like, I feel like it's either going to probably be him or Jaland Lowe that will be leading the scoring for UK this year. And like I said, if we have multiple players scoring 15 plus points per game, I'll gladly take that as well.
Yeah, that's a good start for sure. Did we end up doing? I can't remember. It's all running together. Did we end up doing our prediction for the leading score in our
Uh,
preview?
I can't remember if we did in the last video or not. I don't think we did. I think we just did a regular season plus how far we would go into the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament.
Okay, because definitely the ones that make the most sense would be Jalen and Ortega, but mine was Jasper. I just feel
Yeah.
like he's gonna have, and you could see it a little bit last night. Like he's just gonna have a green light, and he's gonna be able to. There's not a shot that he doesn't think he should shoot. Like I feel like he could step at half court and be like, "Yeah, I'll
Uh-huh.
make this. Like this is no problem." So that's why I think he'll end up coming in, and I think the gravity that Ortega and Jalen will bring, I think they're gonna be able to dump it out to him, and Jasper's going to go crazy. So that's why I think he'll end up being that. But Ortega or Jalen is probably a pretty safe pick to be the leading
Yeah,
scorer.
I feel like it's going to be Ortega again this year. Like I'll go with 18 points per game. We'll see if I'm right or not on if he'll average that much and if he's the leading scorer for UK2.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, what did he average last year? What was his
Let,
exact numbers?
let's go look it
Let's
up.
see. Okay, he averaged where's points? 16.2. So yeah, you have him going up a little bit,
Mhm.
but and yeah, I could definitely see that.
Mhm.
I don't think that's crazy to say that he would go up. I just think I mean, you can see across the country right now what these freshmen look like, and I feel like Jasper's gonna. I mean, he already looks that good, but
Yeah.
I feel like he's just gonna keep growing as the year goes on.
Yeah, and let's talk about Jasper Johnson. He definitely struggled in the Georgetown game. Everybody did, but he was taking like crazy shots in that Georgetown game, and he was missing them. And I'm thinking to myself, if you make them, so be it. But I was like, you're missing these, and I'm like, what are you doing? But he definitely improved from that first half, like everybody did. But Jasper Johnson finished the game with 11 points, 3 for 7 from the field, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line and then went 4 for 5 from the free throw line. He also had 4 assists, so that's pretty impressive as well, being a freshman.
Yeah, no doubt. You can tell he's getting comfortable the further we get along. And I think it was kind of a mix of like maybe being a little bit too comfortable with some of the plays he was trying to make in that Georgetown game, trying to do too much. But I feel like this one he stepped back and played more of his role. Obviously, I want to see the threes go up more. Shooting 1 for 4 isn't really going to cut it, but
Yeah.
getting to the line, hitting your free throws is very, very important. And you 4 assists. Like he's not a one dimensional player. You can kind of do a
Mhm.
little bit of everything. And he had the steal as well that was very impressive. So he's just kind of all over the place. And I think he'll kind of do that all year. I thought he'd be more of just score, maybe
Mhm.
bad defense, but I think off ball at least, I think he's gonna be fine for us defensively. But he's been awesome so far.
Yeah, he's definitely been awesome so far. I want to talk about a couple more players and then we can get
Well,
into.
but before we go from Jasper, you want to talk about his dad with,
Oh yeah,
with
his
his
dad.
seat?
I almost forgot to mention that. But Ryan Lemon, if y'all don't follow him on Twitter, of course, he's one of the co-hosts for KSR. But he posted a picture of Jasper Johnson's dad, Dennis Johnson, all the way up in the nosebleeds, like the last section you could be at, and basically you could tell that he doesn't want to be near Jasper, doesn't want to say anything or critique him, like being close to the floor. So. That's props on his dad for definitely doing that and not making like Jasper Johnson nervous for the game at all.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a very like cool thing to see, but I do get interested to see like what it's going to look like when we have a full crowd because like that was Nicholls. I'm
Yeah.
curious to where he's going to be at for those games because obviously he gets some of the best seats
Mhm.
in the arena. So turning those down to go up there is kind of a selfless thing because he knows what's going through his mind. If he's out there yelling it, it's just going to get in Jasper's head. But
Mhm.
it's kind of funny to me now that it's shifted so much because Dennis Johnson was a UK football legend.
Yeah.
Now he's just Jasper's dad. Like nobody, I thought at some point people would probably go up to him at games, get pictures with him just because of who he is.
Yeah.
Now he's just Jasper's dad now.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, but no, he's definitely a UK legend for sure. But a lot of people are just calling him Jasper Stab now. But no, Dennis is a Kentucky legend here and everything, and of course he's the athletic director, I believe, for Woodford County, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I thought he was the head coach of football, isn't he?
I think he does both. I think he might be
Oh, he
like
does both.
I think he might
Okay.
do both. I could be wrong about that, but I thought he does, both the football head coach and then like the AD for the whole athletics for Woodford County.
Yeah, that'd be very impressive if he does that because I mean that wearing a couple different hats, but either way, he's definitely still
Mhm.
killing it in the
Yeah.
coaching realm. But yeah, Jasper's dad. That's what he goes by
Yeah.
now.
I wonder if Dennis whistled at all during the game because that's what Jasper Johnson was saying before, like during the media interview, that his dad will whistle if he does anything wrong. So I wonder if his dad did that throughout the game.
It is gonna be funny because like these games, especially like Nicholls, where the end zone uppers aren't full. I feel like if you hear that whistle, every head in the arena is going to turn and look straight at
Yeah.
Dennis Johnson now because it's kind of I don't remember was it might have been KSR that first like put that out or something. I don't remember where I saw it first, but the fact that Jasper said like, yeah, Dad whistles, and like you'll be able to hear it. So that will be funny though if you hear a whistle when it gets quiet or something interrupt.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, he said it to the media, so I listened in to that and everything. But it definitely will be interesting, though, if you could hear his whistle during the game at all or not.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the Jasper Dad whistle. That'd be the
Yeah,
specialty.
people will be like, "Is that a fake whistle, or did that come from the ref?"
Yeah, yeah. It'll get interesting if he continues to have the whistle.
Yeah, but all right, let's move on though from good old Jasper Johnson and of course Denison Johnson, good old Kentucky legend for sure. But let's talk about Brandon Garrison and Malachi Marino right now. I still believe Malachi Marino has been shown why he's the better player over Brandon Garrison, and like I said, I don't think Marino will overtake Garrison for the starting spot, but I could definitely see in a couple months once Jayden Quaintance returns that Marino could be getting more minutes than Garrison.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And as of right now, the minutes have a little difference in them, but I feel like you said, as the season goes on, without Quaintance, I feel like those season the game minutes wise, I think they'll end up evening out where maybe they're both sitting at around 20 minutes or something, like where they kind of fill in for each other. And Malachi, it feels like you just look at him and if you watch the game and just do the eye test, like he just plays better with certain
Mhm.
people. I feel like he's more versatile with what he can do. Brandon Garrison, he's still a solid player. Like it's not like he's bad at all. It's kind of an embarrassment of riches type of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think like you said, I think Malachi's going to slowly take some of those minutes, and then by the time Quaintance is back, maybe Malachi is the better option. And I mean, I had a buddy that works at UK, and he was one of them early in the season or early in the off season that like may might have been July or something, but he had mentioned he was like Malachi might be a one and done, and I was like that sounds crazy. I feel like
Yeah.
nobody's really mentioned that. Now we're getting to see like I could see some NBA teams kind of fighting for this guy and wanting this guy to go into the draft so they could take him because he's got such a high upside. There's nothing that he can do on the court.
Yeah, but maybe not one and done. Maybe he'll be gone after his second year though, for sure. But yeah, let's talk about a little bit about their stats right now. Brandon Garrison, he had 8 points, 4 for 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from the 3-point line. He also had 5 rebounds and 1 steal. He played 23 minutes. He had a plus 15. And then for Malachi Marino, he played 17 minutes. He only had 5 points, 2 for 5 from the field. And then he did not shoot the ball very well from the free throw line, 1 for 6. But he did add 9 rebounds, which is pretty impressive. He also had a plus 11 as well.
Yeah, no doubt. He's definitely going to have to start hitting some free throws. Like that's going to be, you'll find yourself at the line a ton. The one thing that I would like to see from both of them, honestly, is neither of them are going to be Amari Williams, but I want to see some more assist making just because it opens everything up a whole lot more when you have a guy that can pass like that. So I do want to see that. They both had 1 assist in this one, but yeah, you mentioned the 9 rebounds. Like that's the reason that I feel like this kid's just going to have a lot of tick this year. Like he's
Yeah.
going to find himself in these games because in 17 minutes, 9 boards is going to get you very
Well,
important minutes. And I think like maybe I don't know if about now, but I feel like maybe up until Quaintance is back, maybe he is the guy that ends up being the guy that as the game winds down, that's our go-to like center. So I'm excited to see what Malachi can do,
mhm.
especially while it's just these two going at it. But I feel like the minutes are going to slowly start to look similar where they're both around 20.
Yes, and hopefully that is the case because, like I said, Marino looks like the better player, but who knows? Like I said, if he gets that starting spot, like maybe he doesn't show like he shouldn't be a starter and he's better off the bench, but still gets starting minutes under Mark Pope's offense.
Yeah, no doubt. The starting role could definitely get under some people's skin and kind of have them in their head a little bit, but hopefully that wouldn't be the case if he ends up getting that role. Maybe he does end up just being a guy that you need to be the guy off the bench to take Brandon Garrison's role or wherever you need him in the game at the time, and maybe that's just going to be his role that we'll get to see all year.
Yeah, and then one other player I really want to mention, we don't really have to talk about Andrei Jelovich. He didn't do too much, had 6 points, 3 for 8 from the field. He did have 5 rebounds, but the one other player I really want to talk about, though, Mo Diabate, 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Just insane. He did that all in 20 minutes or in 21 minutes, had a plus 20 as well. Just insane to think about.
Yeah, no doubt. He's literally like just the plays that he makes. It's like, man, how in the world? I mean, he had that rip on his jersey. Like that's the type of dude he is. It's very impressive. And literally the start of the game. I remember when I was rewatching it because I noticed it loud, but I wasn't thinking too much about it. I was like, that's the reason Pope brought him because I don't remember who closed out, tipped the three. He got the board, led the break, pushed it, and then threw a
Yeah.
lob to BG. And it was like, that's the reason because
Mhm.
if he can
True
bring
that,
that
though.
offensively, like his defense speaks for itself. So if he's bringing that offensively, it's like, dude, this man is going to be irreplaceable and he's going to play great minutes for us.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said earlier, if Denzel Aberdeen and Jaland Lowe are out for a period of time, the only the only two players I would love to see dribble the ball up at this time would be like Otego Away or Mo Diabate. It's insane, Mo Diabate's dribbles. Like I was saying to myself, he's just a bigger Otego Away, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's special. Like it's literally. It felt like when we got him in the offseason, everybody was like, "All right, well, great defense. He's gonna hustle." But we had no idea what he was about to bring as a spark on this offense because he's just been awesome. Like he's literally a dude that like impacts every facet of the game
Hmm.
throughout the entire game, and you'll never catch this man giving less than like 110%. Like
Yeah.
not saying the other guys will, but it's like this dude. It's like the loudest minutes you'll ever see, where he's diving all over the place and fighting, scrapping for every ball. So he's been awesome.
Yeah, and if he was probably averaging 30 plus minutes a game, like he only had 21 against Nicholls State, but he could have easily gotten a double double and maybe be pushing for a triple double if he got 30 plus against them.
Yeah, what he had 7 and 7 and then 4 assists. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's incredible. He's
Yeah.
going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. If he played at least 30 minutes, he would have had a double double. No
Oh
question.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's going to be part of the thing this year is like the depth on this team, and obviously, like at some point, it's going to slowly get cut down and stuff, whether we think it will or not. But and like so we probably won't have guys get insane numbers, but if you do that in 21 minutes, it's like, dude,
Mhm.
like that you can't
It-
deny how good that is.
Video game numbers.
Yes, and I think it'll be similar. Not saying like Mo D is like in that realm, but I think like with Cat, where you could just see what he did in the minutes that he did it with. Like,
Mhm.
I think Mo D is like a legit contender to be like first team SEC and be on
Mhm.
All American mentions if he's doing stuff like this in 21 minutes. Where the if you sit there and do the math and you're like, oh, this dude played more, we're sitting here looking at 12 and 11 with like 8 assists or something like you're looking at a completely different player if he's playing like normal minutes of normal guys.
I agree with you on that. The only thing I really want to add about this game against Nicholls State is Braydon Hawthorne and Reece Potter both did not get minutes again, so it makes me question or wonder if Mark Pope is trying to redshirt both of them because, like I said, the walk-ons came in. You know, you saw Zach Toe, you saw Walker Horn come in, but not those two players.
Yeah, those two. It feels like what Reese was. He was sick for like the Purdue game, right?
Yes, he was sick
Okay,
for
so
the
yeah,
Purdue.
I mean that one makes sense. But yeah, maybe they're both just getting redshirted, and I feel like that was the plan for Braden, but I did think we'd kind of see him in some of these games at least.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like I said, very surprised that that both, Hawthorne and Potter didn't come in whenever the walk-ons came in.
Yeah, yeah, but I was very surprised by that. I mean, obviously, I feel like part of the staff's thing is like Braden Hawthorne is like our hidden gem
Yeah.
that we're just trying to, and maybe he does come in for a minute and just puts up like a minute of Kevin Durant highlights, and then everybody's offering him 5 million in NIL to transfer or something. So
Yeah.
hopefully that they're just redshirting him and we're able to just get to see
Mhm.
this Tayshaun Prince like player here next year.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And like you were saying, Tayshaun Prince, Mark Pope compared Braden Hawthorne to Tayshaun Prince. So hopefully he's right about that, and hopefully we'll have Hawthorne around for years to come. But we'll see about that. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with the Nicole State game before we transition to our next opponent, which is Valparaiso?
I don't think so. Not really. I think that the big takeaways is the 15 in the first half. I
Mhm.
think instead of looking at our 28, look at the 15 and be like, dang, like this is just this 04 Pistons numbers. Um, and then obviously you get to see the Colin there at the end. So I mean
Mhm.
that highlight, we didn't even mention that like Lil Wayne,
Lil Wayne.
a lot of the college basketball media world was tweeting about it. Like they were like, this dude.
Mhm.
Like I saw shout out one of the guys on Twitter, the Colin Chandler enthusiast or whatever his name is. He was like, my boy's getting mainstream now because like March Madness was tweeting about it, Overtime
Yeah.
was tweeting about it. I was like, all right, yep, he's getting out there.
Yeah, I actually know who runs Colin Chandler Enthusiast account, so shout out to him. I won't say his real name, like if he wants his real name announced, he will, but I know him personally. He's a very nice guy. I've known him for probably about 10 years now, so very nice guy though.
Okay, yeah, I don't know who he is personally. I've talked to him like we've DM back and forth, and then we're in group chats together. Seems like a cool dude though.
Yeah, he is a very cool dude. And also, speaking of that, I mean, Drew Franklin of KSR posted out on Twitter saying, like, we're having too many people sign up for the Colin Chandler fan club account or fan club right now. It might take a few days for us to respond. So I thought that was pretty funny too.
Yeah, three to 5 business days to get back to all these people. It was funny.
Yeah. I think one last point though about Chandler is I really don't think he can run the point guard like we saw that to start out. So I think he needs to either be the two or the three because like he just unleashed off his potential in that second half once he was able to not have the ball in his hands and was able to be off the ball.
Yeah, I think you could definitely see that. Yeah, like yeah, once you said he was off the ball, it was a completely different player, and that's what Pope talked about in the post game and stuff, where he was like, now he's in his natural spot. You get to see what type of player he's going to be, and that's the leap that I think everybody was hoping for and expecting this year for Colin Chandler. So hopefully that comes in bigger scales as we get down the road.
Yeah, hopefully he can run the two or the three in the future. Definitely not the one though. I think we learned that lesson against Nicholls State immediately.
Yeah, yeah, we saw it against Georgetown a little bit, and then we saw it in this one. So it was like, yeah, we need to keep him off the ball and let him play the roles that he's definitely comfortable with.
Yeah, I agree with you. But let's get into now the Valparaiso game. So they did not look great against Eastern Illinois at all. They barely won. They squeaked by with a win. They won 66 to 63. We'll get into who Valparaiso started plus their bench. They had in total, I believe I said 11 players play for them, so they had quite a few players, but they consistently only played about 8 players, so from like the 11 players that did play against Eastern Illinois.
Okay. Yeah, without, I mean, knowing a whole lot about their roster, I'm hoping that it's a similar thing to how this second half looked, where it was kind of just wearing them down and like you're able to get in the flow of things and not have to like stress about this too much. I'm hoping from off rip we can kind of take off with this one and dominate these boys early.
Yeah, for sure. But let's get into it. We won't get into the lineup just yet, but they love to shoot the three. They finished the game against Eastern Illinois. They shot 7 for 31 from the three-point line, and it's just insane to think about how many threes they got off. Just like UK, I mean, UK had against Nicholls State, they had 27 threes, and both teams, they love to shoot the three ball, and we'll see if both teams actually start to make their three-point shots, though.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that battle of the 3-point shooting is one sided, and hopefully we're
Mhm.
out there just rolling and they're going slow. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because anytime you get one of those teams, it's like hit or miss. Where like if they're hitting, maybe you have a situation where it's a little tighter than you're hoping. But I do think with just our length and stuff, I think we'll be able to disrupt the threes and definitely run them off the line for sure. And then we'll have rim protection for teams at least like this that we can kind of slow it down a little bit.
I agree with you on that. Another point I would like to mention is they went 21 for 35 from the free throw line, so they also got fouled a lot and they got to the line a lot, but they didn't shoot the ball too well. They shot, I'm trying to do my math, they shot 60% from the free throw line, which isn't the best at all. So hopefully UK can defend without fouling against Valparaiso as well.
Yeah, definitely need to defend without fouling. And I'm not sure if there's one particular player that is kind of the one to watch that just doesn't miss free throws at all. But yeah, hopefully it's a game where it would show physicality, but like don't send them to the line all the time to where it's one of those slow, dragging games from start to finish.
Yes, and talking a little bit more about Valparaiso, they love to force turnovers. They forced 13 steals against Eastern Illinois, but they also commit to at the same time 14 turnovers of their own. Meanwhile, for UK, they only had 7 steals and 13 turnovers against Nicholls State. And basically, for UK, they have to start limiting turnovers for sure and getting more steals and causing turnovers on the other team.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm hoping that similar to the possession that I was talking about with Mo D, like not just off of like tips, but I'm hoping like off of jumping a passing lane or somebody being help side and being able to rip it from somebody. I'm hoping that we get a lot of points in transition because the the fast break points in that one in our game versus Nicholls was 20, and we had 8 turnovers against them. You mentioned they had 14 was the number that you said. I think that
They
was right.
had 13 steals but 14 turnovers.
The
So
14 turnovers. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
hoping that we can turn them over like much more than that. I'd like to
Mhm.
see us get, I mean, pushing 20 or something. And I'd like to see a lot of points off of it with people running the break, filling the lanes correctly.
I agree with you on that. Like, get so many steals, get into the passing lane for sure. Another stat I want to bring up. So, Valparaiso, or Eastern Illinois narrowly out rebounded Valparaiso. They out rebounded them 41 to 38. But I think what catches my eye so much from that stat is Valparaiso. They had 16 offensive rebounds during the game, and I'm thinking to myself, they're going to want to be able to rebound the ball off of a miss. It'll be interesting to see though, since UK is the better talent for sure, is if they change up their scheme instead of trying to go for the offensive rebound, they try to get back and try to set up their half court defense instead.
Yeah, no doubt. The offensive boards is definitely a key piece because like that's definitely the recipe. Shooting threes, getting offensive boards is the recipe to upset somebody. So I feel like that's going to be the two things that they honed in on going into this one. Surely that's not going to be something that we'll have to worry about. Hopefully we're meeting them early, not having to worry about their offensive boards, and so hopefully we just keep them off the glass and use our length against them well.
I agree. And let's get into the starting five for Valparaiso. So this was what they ran against Eastern Illinois. Of course, anything can change though. They start out Mark Brown Jr. as their guard. junior college transfer. He had 13 points and 4 assists per game before he transferred to Valparaiso, but he only had 6 points, 2 for 9 from the field goal against Eastern Illinois, but he also did add 3 assists for them as well.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Seems like a solid player, but yeah, I don't really know who do you think will be matched up on him if we're starting with man?
Well, probably if we're doing that, I would put probably Jaland Lowe at the point guarding Mark Brown, I would say, because their shortest player is Mark Brown in their starting five. Of course, their starting lineup could change, but I mean, it's insane. Their starting five, it goes 6'7", six, I didn't mean it's 6'7", but
Hey,
yeah,
come on,
6'7",
man.
6'8", 6'8", and 6'10". Like, it's insane how tall their team is. Like, their shortest player is 6 foot.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know between Lowe and Aberdeen who you'd be leaning, but yeah, I mean like the length that they have all around there, you probably just throw Lowe on him.
Yeah, you would probably do that if he's playing. Of course not. If not, you would probably put Denzel Aberdeen there, though, for sure. Talking about their other starting five players, they've got Owen Dees. He's a 6'8" forward. He came from Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. He averaged nearly 10 points last season, but he only had 2 points and three rebounds in 15 minutes against Eastern Illinois. And then to go over a few more players for them in their starting five, you've got Isaiah Barnes, a 6'7" guard. He transferred from Tulsa, also spent time at Michigan. I don't know if you recognize the name, but he led Valparaiso with 15 points and 10 rebounds for a double-double in the season opener for them.
Yeah, it seems like Barnes is definitely the one to watch because yeah, you mentioned the stats and then he played the most minutes, so it feels like he's definitely going to be the guy to watch because I think he leads them in yeah boards and points this year so far. So he seems like the guy for them.
Yeah, and then the other two for the starting five, you got JT Pettigrew. He's a 6'8" forward. He's only a freshman, but he had 13 points on 3 for 6 shooting and hit 7 of 11 from the free throw line. So I guess do not foul him at all if you're UK because he went 7 for 11. Of course, a little less than 70%, but still don't foul him at all. And then their big man that they have, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's Sean Tupuola, maybe? I don't know.
Tupuola?
Yeah, maybe, but he's a 6'10" center, a junior college transfer who averaged a double-double last year, but only played 9 minutes Tuesday, only scoring 2 points. So I don't know if he got injured or not, but he only scored 2 points for them.
Yeah, I don't. I was looking at just the minutes to see. He only played 9 minutes. I wonder if he got hurt or something. Like, I didn't know if something happened because that dude, the New Zealand kid,
Yeah,
yeah, Carter,
Carter
Hap-
Hopoi.
yeah, Hapoi. Yeah, he came in, had a couple blocks, so it seems
Yeah.
like maybe he ended up playing big minutes as the big man for him.
Yeah, speaking of him, Carter Hopoi, he's only a freshman, 6'11". He stood out for the team, had 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, and also had the best plus minus on the team. He had a plus 13, which is insane, but he only scored 3 points for them, but he was known for his defense.
Yeah, definitely. He had 2 steals too, so maybe he's just like a defensive menace that we'll need to watch out for and kind of just see what we can do offensively against him.
Yeah, and then let's talk about a couple of other key players for Valparaiso. You have Brody Whitaker and Raheem Chaney. They provided valuable minutes, and Whitaker tallied 8 points and 5 rebounds, while Chaney added 12 points and 5 steals. And that's insane to think about. Chaney had 5 steals, so if whoever is on the matchup with Chaney or like you've got to make sure you do not let Chaney get the ball at all if UK is on offense. Like, make sure he doesn't steal the ball at all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seems like Cheney and Hapoy or however you say his name, like those are the two
Mhm.
like defensive menaces on this team that are just going to be out there to wreak havoc on everybody else.
Yeah, like what's his name? Jose Alvarado.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Grand Theft Alvarado.
Yeah, Grant that Valparaiso for sure. But that's basically the matchup against Valparaiso. If y'all don't know, the game is at 7 p.m. on the SEC Network. Plus, can't forget about the SEC Network Plus. And it's at Rupp Arena, 7 o'clock. And like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. There's no point spread out just yet, just because at this time we're filming on a Wednesday night, but like I said, I think it would still be close to that 29.5 like we had against Nicholls State.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be around there, and then yeah, hopefully we can cover that one. That should be one that we should focus on to cover. But I think the first game was SEC Network Plus, I think as well. So
Yeah.
however you got the first game, if you're listening, just go do the exact same thing because YouTube TV, the whole ESPN thing, it's messed with. I don't know. Are you YouTube TV?
No, I'm not YouTube TV. I use the good old Spectrum, but hey, back a couple of years ago, we had the same issue with that.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like there's always ESPN every couple of years. It's like, all right, well, it's time to mess up somebody's day or something like that. I feel like they do this every few years. I saw somebody put out a chart, and they're literally the reason that like this has happened for like 15 years in a row. But I am a YouTube TV guy, so like it's sucked. I've figured
That's
out
awful.
so many different ways to try to watch these games. Like
Mhm.
watching the game the other night, it was a nightmare trying to figure it out. I ended up getting no free ads, but Fubo TV, and then using Fubo to sign up with ESPN Plus, and then it was the whole thing, but I
Yeah.
got it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to finally get it, but yeah, I just use Spectrum, so I haven't had any issues. Of course, I had issues a couple years ago because it went from Sports Center to, I believe, like the Florida Utah game, and then basically they cut out of it. I'm like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, that seems like a nightmare, but
Yeah.
yeah, second game of the BBN United Tip Off Classic presented by Kentucky Tourism. So,
Hey,
got to be able to
yeah.
watch this game.
Yeah, for sure. But let's get into the score prediction and MVP for this game. So, if Jaland Lowe and Denzel Aberdeen are playing, this changes my whole scoring prediction. So, I'll do one with them playing and then without them playing. So, for me, if they are playing, I'm going to go like 90. I'll go 93, probably. I'll go 93-60 UK, and then if Jaland Lowe is not playing for some reason, I'll go a little bit lower. I'll go 84-58 UK, and then for my MVPs, or just for my MVP, I'll go with, let's go with Jasper Johnson. Like, he's had insane games coming off the bench. I believe he'll continue to do that, and I'll say he'll score, give me 15 points, and I'll say he'll hit three threes this game as well.
Okay. Okay, I like it. Mine with Jalen playing is going to be real simple. Like this is going to be just a black and white score, 100-50. I think it's just an
150.
absolute blowout for Jalen Lowe's debut. I like that score a lot. But then if he's not playing, I think it will be a little bit lower, like you mentioned. I think we win 87-56. I'd like to see them stay below 60. That'd be a fun number to keep them under. And then I'm just going to keep speaking it until it comes to fruition, and it ends up happening. Kam Williams, 6, 7 threes in this game. He's going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Good old 6-7. Can't forget about that. But now let's talk about a little bit other Kentucky basketball news. Of course, we've already covered the Colin Chandler dunk, Trent Noah being injured. Hopefully, he's back sometime soon, whether it be against Valparaiso or against Louisville or sometimes in the near future. Hopefully, he's back. But let's talk about NBA 2K. Kentucky is officially in the game for that. I was very excited. I reached out to UK last week about it and they weren't for sure. They couldn't give me a yes or no answer. I'm like, you all have to know. Like, you can't tell me that you all don't know. Like, I understand if you don't want to tell me and you want it, announced to the public through their social media or whatever it might be. But it got announced today through the Kentucky women's basketball social media that they're going to be in the game. And then after that, Trent Noah posted about it. And then recently, Mark Pope also posted about it.
Yeah, you should have asked me. I had a guy that I know at UK,
Hmm.
not giving names, but he told me he was like, "Yeah, 2K's here next week." And I was like, "Oh, sweet, all right." I didn't know that that was happening, honestly, but
Hmm.
so it was cool to just kind of see it happen because they visited a few other schools already, but
Hmm.
it'll be so awesome to have those fellas in the game.
Dang, you should have looked the news on social media, brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to get my boy in trouble. I didn't know if I should put that out.
Yeah, oh well, but like I said, it's going to be insane. Of course, there's, I believe, only supposed to be 16 teams, and it's going to be like a DLC for NBA 2K26, so it's going to be like an add-on, so it'll probably cost, I would say, between 20 to 30 bucks for this DLC, but, as soon as that happens, I'm going to download that DLC, play SUK, and win that national championship for sure.
Yeah, 1,000%. I did it like as soon as we obviously weren't even in it, but the first time that Madden added, this was before they brought back college football games. I went in straight off rip and I did like my career and I went to, I don't even remember where I played, like Miami or something, but just the fact of having college sports in it is going to be amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to win just a billion titles with UK. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see though what they do with NBA 2K27. Like how many college teams will they have from that? Because like I said, they're only going to do 16 this year, and like I said, 16 is still incredible to just be able to add that into the game as a DLC. Like I'm going to be very happy about that.
Yeah, it feels like it's like 40 years until the actual game comes back for college sports, but I think it's like 2028, but it's still a long time.
Mhm.
But yeah, this will be a blast just to have it as a little extra thing. But I think all of BBN will be with us in playing that game for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to see, Otego Way, Trent Noah, Jaland Lowe, Denzel Aberdeen, like everybody, like it's going to be just insane to see them. And let's do a real quick overall prediction. Let's go with Otego Way probably being the highest overall. I would say he would probably be, I don't know, at 96 overall.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Yeah, 96 feels right. I'm trying to think who would be right behind him.
I would say
Um,
probably if Jayden Quaintance can come back fully healthy, I would say probably him number two.
yeah,
Like I said, that's
yeah.
a big if he can come back fully healthy, but probably number two or number three would definitely be probably Denzel Aberdeen or Jaland Lowe as your two or the three.
Yeah, I was thinking honestly, Quaintance might be big. He might be like a 98 on it. Like, I mean, he's gonna be nuts, but
Yeah.
um, I was thinking Jalen Lowe. I feel like he's just gonna be one of those dudes where like 99 speed,
Mhm.
99 ball handle, speed with ball, like all that stuff. Like, I feel like he might end up being the third highest out
Yeah,
of
I
these
feel like
guys.
you could have really three or four players in the 90 overall category from UK with Otego Way, Jaland Lowe, Denzel Aberdeen, and then Jayden Quaintance, of course. So there's four, but then now four or five because, potentially Mo Diabate as well. I would not give him a 90 overall. I would probably give him like an 88 or 89 just because of his offense. He's not a great three-point shooter. Like he'll be low on that rating, like at 25 3-point shooting, maybe not maybe that, but 40 probably. But like I said, maybe Mo Diabate would be close to the 90 overall, but I would give him like an 88 or 89.
Yeah, I'd say probably in that range as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't be the highest rated, but he would be the definition of a glue guy in that game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, UK will probably definitely have four or five players at least 90 overall or higher. I feel like for this DLC game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm excited just to see like what the guys look like in the game because I know they get the actual NBA players really accurate. So,
Mhm.
and I mean they're doing the same scanning and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see what the guys end up looking like in this.
Yeah, they bring it everywhere. And I saw they were also at Purdue today, so that was interesting. So Purdue's in it. I think right now the only universities confirmed so far are Duke, UNC, Purdue, and UK, I believe, out of the 16.
I want to say Houston is also
Houston, yeah.
confirmed.
Yeah, so five, maybe Baylor as well.
Yeah. I think I want to say I was trying to find it to see who else was. Kansas will be in it. Arizona will be in it. Outside of those, I don't know. I think that's the only ones confirmed, the ones that you mentioned, and then those Big 12 schools.
Yeah, so it will definitely be interesting to see who are all the 16 teams, but it's very exciting if you're a college basketball fan like we are, and I'm ready to definitely play that DLC game of NBA 2K whenever that comes out, whether it be like later this year or early next year, it's coming very soon. Like I would not be surprised if it's not here within the next 1 to 3 months.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And you mentioned it'll be a blast to play. So as soon as that comes out, I can see BBN flying to the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever and just downloading that immediately.
Yeah, I'll definitely be playing on the good old Xbox, but let's end on a little serious note, sad note, whatever it might be. But let's talk about Tyran Stokes. Of course, he's the number one overall player in the class of 2026, but basically today it was announced that he will no longer be attending Notre Dame High School. Basically, the school and him and his parents agreed that it would be better for him to go to a different high school, whether it might be, playing for overtime elite or whatever it might be, or trying to enroll into college early. Like it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I definitely do feel bad for Tyran Stokes, and hopefully he can figure out everything for him.
Yeah, hopefully so. And you mentioned it before we like started filming. It's been like a couple weeks of stuff kind of lingering around, and maybe something would happen. But yeah, best of luck with whatever happens to him, wherever he ends up going. And obviously, whenever something is decided, we'll report it and talk about it on here. But definitely a very serious time, and like it was just it kind of got everybody stopped today in their tracks. It was kind of shocking.
Yeah, like you were saying, like it's been like there's been rumors of it for like the past month that something was up with Tyron Stokes and the high school and everything, but nobody knew for sure. But then there were a lot of reports that came out today, and like I said, hopefully he figures it out. Whether, like I said, he has to go to a different high school or he has to, enroll in the spring semester somewhere, and hopefully it would be UK if Mark Pope still wants him and everything, but. It's still a very serious time, and like I said, hopefully he does learn from this because, like you never want a player to be immature or anything. You want them to learn from their lessons and grow from it.
Yeah, I was reading up a little bit, and it said that like he had missed the team's photo day, and then the team's Midnight Madness or whatever it is for them got canceled, and then he wasn't on campus this past Monday, and so everything's kind of just ended up coming to fruition. So like, yeah, I don't know what the full scenario is, and
Mhm.
definitely if you're out there just trying to figure out any information, be careful what you read and who you're
Mhm.
getting it from, because unless it's confirmed, don't just take that and spread it. So whatever the situation is, it's definitely a very serious topic for sure. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, best of luck to him. Best of luck to his family and everything, and
Yeah.
hopefully he's able to enjoy his final year of high school.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And maybe that's also one of the reasons why he delayed his announcement because everybody was expecting him to commit around his birthday, around Big Blue Madness, but that never came. And now it's been a month later, basically, like not exactly, but 3 weeks later, and still no announcement. Of course, he cut his list down to three schools with UK, Kansas, and Oregon, but a lot of people are saying that's one of the reasons why he hasn't announced yet.
I could definitely see that, and I would definitely respect that because, like, if you've got a whole lot going on, I think your commitment can definitely be put off a little bit. And unless you're 1,000% sure, don't make that decision because it is a life-changing decision. It's all business from there on, and you're choosing the steps that'll direct your life. So I don't blame him for pushing it off a little bit. It's very, very important times.
Yeah, and like I said, I believe he will figure it all out. Like I said, sometimes it just takes time for a player to mature or a person to mature over time. I mean, Lynn Bowden, I won't get into it, but he definitely matured off the field and on the field towards his like redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior year. Like he wasn't the best player, like he was causing, some issues like off the field, but I won't get into that too much or anything, but like I said, he matured and he became one of the best players that ever came to UK. Of course, like he had to play quarterback and basically was the running back whenever he was playing quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, he ended up being a legend, and you mentioned that it wasn't always easy. And we've had guys like that in the past where you've seen guys that had some troubles throughout high school or whatever, and they end up getting here. And obviously, I think it was true with Cal, and it's definitely true with Pope, where they do judge their character. So I think if it's a too serious of a situation that it can't be tamed at all, they're not going to go after that kid. So I don't think there's anything to worry about with us still pursuing him heavy. And because I know some fans were kind of like, oh, I don't want some kid that's already having all these
Yeah.
troubles while he's still in high school. So I don't think it's going to be any problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that early on in John Calipari's tenure, of course, with John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. We don't have to discuss what happened, off the court or whatever, but, John Wall, didn't have the best upbringing along with DeMarcus Cousins, but, UK got both of them. They were fine at UK. John Wall, of course, was the number one overall pick. DeMarcus Cousins was the number five overall pick, and they had a great long NBA career.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's one big thing that you can never take away from Cal is the development that he had of guys as growing into men and molding them. And you mentioned both those guys didn't have necessarily the like most clean and ideal
Mhm.
high school and middle school and all that. So like them being able to go through that and choosing Kentucky, and then I think Cal was able to help mold them and stuff,
Mhm.
and those guys are very appreciative of Cal for that. So um, it was awesome to see what they ended up being. And you mentioned they had a long NBA career and very successful NBA career. So I don't think there's any worry with Stokes at all.
Yeah, I feel like Stokes will figure it out for sure. One last comment. I just saw Alvin Brooks. He took some pictures. He actually also got scanned. So I guess college basketball, they'll have the head coaches and the assistant coaches all scanned into the game. But that's pretty cool to just see Alvin Brooks the third being scanned into the game as well.
Yeah, that'll be sick. He's gonna be over there on the bench doing the shark thing, just doing his hand emoji.
Yes, that would be great for sure. But I think that wraps up tonight's podcast. Of course, we'll have a football podcast on Friday. Of course, probably not the best time to upload a football episode whenever UK basketball plays on Friday, but we'll have this basketball episode uploaded on Thursday. Hopefully, y'all will watch it and have comments for us, whether like on stuff that we need to improve on or whatever we can do to make this podcast better, of course. But we're trying to blast out content every week, whether 2 or 3 podcast episodes a week, but we're going to keep on doing that, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it all comes down to you guys, the viewers. So whatever you guys are thinking, whether it's just aesthetically what you would want to see changed, or if there's like certain segments that you would like us to add, whatever it is, just comment below. You can DM us or whatever on Twitter and stuff too. So we're definitely open to ideas, but it's been fun and it's a good time to be doing a podcast for sure because it's a
Yeah,
fun time to be a Kentucky fan.
basically 4 months into the podcast, I believe too, something like that, close to it, probably.
Yeah, we've been
Been
rolling for
rolling
sure.
for sure, but no, but we appreciate y'all watching on YouTube along with listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But this is Chris Beesmore and
And Cameron Waddle,
Sonny out. Have a great night, everybody. Great week.
go Cats.
Go Cats, brother. Woo!